NBA today.
The Wizards are at the top of the East, and they're doing it defensively. They're allowing the lowest field goal percentage and the lowest three-point percentage this season. Washington also ranks 4th in defensive efficiency after finishing 20th last year. Joining us now on NBA Today is an NBA champion and Washington Wizards forward, Kyle Kuzma. Kuz, thanks for hanging with us.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're excited to have you. So the Wizards, they may be the hottest team in the East right now. And you said you were pleasantly surprised that you were going to D.C. and not Sacramento. But for years, the Wizards, they were a punchline. How does playing for this team compare with maybe the perception you had of this team before arriving?
Well, it's a much different team. First and foremost, obviously, the roster turnover has been, essentially flipped. And, what the organization was prior to me coming, obviously, me playing with the Lakers coming into town, it was always, just a whole bunch of Laker fans at the game. But, what I've been surprised with really is our fan base. Like, they're showing up to every game, super, super loud. It's a different type of fan base, and it's fun to play with. So.
Montrezl Harrell was making sure to note that fan base, and he said that when he was shooting free throws that he could hear the MVP chants. He's like, I don't want that on the first free throw. Wait till the second free throw. Do you have that kind of sway in Capital One Arena, or are you the guy who's like, nope, keep going, MVP chants now?
No, I don't like it because I don't want to miss my first free throw. And I feel like every time I've ever heard that, I've always missed a free throw. So, it's really fun. It's a great environment that we play in. The fans are really into it, and they're rowdy, and, it's exciting. So.
Well, I don't want to live in the past here, but when you were with LA, there was a star power backlog at one position, right? And you said that you had to take a back seat, and rightfully so. And fast forward to now, you're averaging 9 rebounds a game, a career high. What has the adjustment been like to being that front seat player?
It's very fun, obviously, from an individual standpoint. This is kind of what I wanted. An opportunity just to, not be in someone's shadows or, have that type of log jam on a roster standpoint. So, being here has been extremely fun. I have opportunity to come in and lead and use my championship mentality and, everything I've learned from those two guys out in LA. It's been wonders for my career. And, I think people are seeing it now. So.
What did you learn from those guys that you're applying now? Did you learn how to be a star there?
I feel like just everything, I think the way I think the game, the way I approach the game, the way I take care of my body, my effort defensively, just my overall focus as, possession to possession. And, I think the biggest thing is, the winning aspect. Obviously AD, LeBron, those guys are winners. They won a lot in this league, and, we won championships together. So, it's always win at all costs. And that's always the mentality I've kind of had growing from, the situation I was in.
Are you playing at all with the chip on your shoulder this season?
I am, but I think I'm playing more of a chip for myself. I think for me, I work really hard. I love this game. I care about it. And, I just want to be as great as I can be, and, whatever that may be to whatever extent. But, I care for it. And I want to be able to, say who I say I am, if that makes sense, so.
It's certainly been fun to watch you all, and this has been fun to have this conversation. And don't worry, your Chiron isn't going to say won a championship thanks to LeBron on this show. Your clapback game, though, I am impressed. Where did that come from?
Man, I just like to have fun. I'm at the point in my life where, I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy the game of basketball, and I want to be able to laugh all day. And I think, the best part about life is when you can laugh at yourself and you understand things aren't that serious. So.
Well, that was certainly a good chuckle. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Kyle.
I appreciate it, Malika.
So let's stick in the Eastern Conference. Chris Middleton, according to Mike Budenholzer, is planning to return against the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. And Budenholzer said that there's going to be a ramp-up period for Middleton as he gets readjusted back into the lineup, because remember, he has been out for an extended period in the league's COVID-19 protocol, affected by his absence. So the Bulls, they completed the Los Angeles sweep. Compton native DeMar DeRozan, he just showed out. 73 points combined between the Clippers and Lakers games. Richard, when you're looking at DeMar, you heard him say, I'm playing with a little bit of chip on his shoulder, all that chatter in the offseason. Why is he playing so well right now?
I think there's a level of freedom that DeMar DeRozan has right now. You got to understand, he left Toronto in a very emotional way. He went to San Antonio, and now he has an opportunity to pick. This is the first time he was a free agent, where he gets to decide where he wants to go, the players that he wants to play with, the city that he wants to be at. And I think he just taken all of those chips and all of those things that has kind of been lingering and kind of hovering over him, and he's playing with a new level of freedom.
First of all, we need to have an emergency summit about the word washed. Nobody said DeMar DeRozan was washed.
I didn't say that.
There was not one person who said DeMar DeRozan was washed. Was there some skepticism about his fit and his mid-range? Sure, but not washed. Look, the question everyone had about the Bulls when they combined DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic was, how is this team going to defend? Well, they're fourth in defense. And I'll say this, Malika, you and I were at the game. Of all the teams I've seen in person, they gained the most watching them in person, because you felt just how up in people's faces Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso are, how fast they transition from one end of the court to the other. They just are playing ferocious basketball. And the other thing that stood out, they really like playing with each other. They're rooting for each other, trying to set each other up. Right. It's easy to do that when you're winning.
But you also got to talk about Caruso leading the league in steals and what he's been doing.
He and Lonzo.
They've been adding Lonzo and Caruso have helped that defensive pairing of DeMar, Zach, and Vucevic.
Well, and speaking of liking to play with each other, JJ, we heard DeMar say that Zach LaVine wanted him to go for 40, but he's like, I'm too tired, man. What have you seen from DeMar DeRozan in Chicago?
I have a question first, actually. How big does Perk's head look to y'all?
Oh,
from my vantage point,
thank you.
From my vantage point in New York, mine is like, God. I don't know. I'm like 30%.
Thank you. Welcome, JJ. That'll be the last time I agree with someone from Duke, but go ahead.
Well, look, I think DeMar made a huge leap in playmaking when he was in San Antonio. It sort of went unnoticed. Last year, he averaged a career high in assists. To me, this is the most complete we've seen DeMar as an offensive player. He's even added in 2.5 threes per game, shooting it at 37%. We've seen seasons where he's completely ignored the three-point line. So he's sort of doing everything right now. If you were to have an MVP power rankings as of today, I'd put DeMar DeRozan third after Steph and KD.
Interesting. Hey, Perk, is your head okay?
Yeah, it does. And you know what? I'm gonna give JJ a pass today, man, because this is my guy, and this is our first time. I was gonna sing "Just Let Your
today.
Soul Glow."
Just today. Just for today.
He got the to the left. I wasn't gonna get on there today. I was just gonna talk about the Lakers.
Okay.
Since everybody's talking about Bulls, and rightfully so, can we talk about how disgusting the Lakers look?
We can
right
talk
now?
about it. We can talk about it. We'll get to it, Perk. Give me just one more second with the Chicago Bulls, because they were that good. They're 10-4, which is tied for second in the East. So I just want to ask JJ, what makes this team so tough to play against?
Well, as Zach alluded to, I think it's their defensive pressure up front. Adding Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso has been great for them. Alex Caruso, to me, is one of the most underrated free agency additions this past offseason. The Lakers miss him, and he's been tremendous for the Bulls. He doesn't have to score to impact a game. He's so disruptive on defense, and he's been absolutely great for them.
Perk, I know you're champing at the bit here, so come on, let me have it. What were your takeaways from the Lakers side last night?
Well, the Lakers are supposed to look like the Bulls are looking right now. And here's the thing that bothers me the most about the Lakers. You have a group of veteran guys that have come together for one goal and one goal only, and that's to win the championship. And when I watch the Lakers play, I don't see that. And obviously, it's the obvious plays of them not being able to knock down three-point shots. But as we saw in the film that Richard was talking about, we didn't see them getting back in transition. We don't see the Lakers making the hockey assist. And to those out there that don't know what the hockey assist is, that's actually the pass that leads to the assist for the bucket. We see a lot of hero, my-turn basketball on the offensive end where they take shots at the basket, and you're like, what are you doing? And then defensively, they're just not there, right? Their perimeter defense is not there. It's Westbrook. He has to be the leader on that side of the ball by getting into the ball, getting up over screens, setting some type of tone. If Alex Caruso could go out there, and I'm not discrediting him because I love what he brings to the table, but if Alex Caruso could go out there and have an impact on the game by getting into the ball, doing the little things that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, and Russell Westbrook is just as athletic as Alex Caruso and not doing those same little things that don't show up in the stat sheet but equals to winning, then that's a problem for the Lakers. I just don't understand how you have a group of veterans that can't come together and sacrifice and show and play winning basketball on a consistent basis.
Well, look, Perk is telling the truth here. The one thing that I will say about this Laker team is that you know they have the pieces. The hardest thing, in my opinion, is to get the talent that is needed to be successful. Obviously, they're missing LeBron James. Obviously, they've had injuries to Kendrick Nunn, to THT, Trevor Ariza. They've had a ton of injuries. But the flip side of this is also the softest part of their schedule. And some of the losses that they have are against teams that have a quarter of the amount of talent, even with all of those players missing. And so that, to me, is the most, disheartening thing about where the Lakers are right now.
Feels like they haven't played a road game yet the whole season. I'm going to say something nice. Taylor Horton-Tucker played well.
He did.
That's a nice thing. I'll tell you what was striking. The Lakers have Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis on their team, 2 future Hall of Famers.
Top 75.
There was not 1 second in last night's game where they looked nearly the Bulls equal. The Bulls were just way better than the Lakers. That underscores to me, like, they need MVP level LeBron. They're just not very good without LeBron. And LeBron is reaching a point in his career. We've seen the injuries start to happen. He's 3rd all time in minutes. There's no precedent for a player that has played this many minutes. There's no precedent for LeBron, period. But there's no precedent for a player playing this many minutes being a top 3 or 4 player in the NBA. That's what they need, because you can show me THT, Ariza, Nunn. Those are all solid players. They're not changing your life as a team. This team without LeBron just looks disorganized and not very good.
Well, speaking of LeBron James, he's been out for 2 weeks, and senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski joins us now for an update on his status. So, Woj, the Lakers have 2 games on ESPN the remainder of this week. Tomorrow in Milwaukee against the Bucks, and then Friday in Boston against the Celtics. When might we see LeBron James back on the court?
Malika, I'm told that there's some real optimism that LeBron James may return on Friday against Boston. Certainly, as you said, they start this 5-game trip in Milwaukee. He's been back on the court. He's not gone 5-on-5 yet. He's not had contact on the practice court with his teammates. Frank Vogel talked about that yesterday, but he has progressed that abdominal strain that's kept him out. As you said, for over 2 weeks, Malika, that there's optimism now that he'll make his return on Friday in Boston against the Celtics, of course, on ESPN.
Okay, so Friday, potentially. Thank you so much, Woj. I do want to bring in JJ Redick back into the mix. JJ, I am curious, how much of what is wrong with the Lakers do you think LeBron James is going to fix by just being back in the lineup?
Well, he's going to fix a lot of it. And look, I get the addition of Russell Westbrook. I think the idea there was to take some of the playmaking responsibilities off of LeBron throughout the regular season. They've got 82 games to figure it out until the playoffs. But the one thing bringing LeBron back is not going to fix is they don't have a consistent elite shooter. And that, to me, is what they're missing the most. They're missing that spacing. If those 3 guys are going to play together, along with THT on the court a lot with them, they need shooting, and they don't have that right now. Consistent, elite shooter? Is there someone in this 2-box who fits that frame? Because it ain't me. Are you? Well, there's one sitting at home in New York City, actually.
Oh, yeah, well, Richard was trying to get in on that, but we're like, no, he's.
We know it ain't Perk.
We know it ain't Perk. Oh, bless him. We know it ain't Perk. Thank you so much for joining us, JJ. But please stick around. We need you for Nets Warriors coming up a little bit later in the show. The Bulls being incredibly dangerous out in transition. That's what caught my eye yesterday. But then in the press conference, did y'all see Lonzo's chain?
Yo, he was blinging. That's what you